Right, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for coming to the training session today. So we've got about a half an hour session that we're going to do, and this will be your introduction into delivering and conducting an induction. So I'm just going to go through some slides first of all, just to sort of introduce the content of today's course, and then you can introduce yourself. So I'm Emma Dowding and I'm the coach today. And you've obviously had your invitation to your meeting here today, so thanks for coming and being on time. And we'll just go through some introduction in a minute. So I've got a PowerPoint to go through and show you. So we're just going to click through this and I'll talk you through what's going on. So the reason we're here today is that we are doing a course on how to conduct an induction training course using effective communication. So the reason you guys are here today is that there's a learning and development need in the company. We need to support the business in growing, and the reason we need to do the course today is that we've got more people joining the organisation and more people are going to have to conduct inductions, and that's why you guys are here, so you're part of that team. So we want to make sure that all employees have an enjoyable and informative start to their engagement in the company, and that's really important that they understand the policies and procedures. So what the plan is that we're going to do a 30-minute online, a 30-minute briefing today, talk you through what the plan is. So there will be a training booklet for you to complete after this course, and then you will observe an induction, which will be an hour induction, that's how long they are. And then after that, you will do the induction and I will observe you doing it and then sign you off. Okay. So I'm just going to talk through some ground rules and then we'll do some introductions. So it's really important today that we're all paying attention, that you turn your mobile phone off and make sure that you've closed down your emails and that you're not distracted today. Please take notes during the course and feel free to raise your hand at any point. We can have a stop. Also respect each other and listen to each other's points during the course. If you want to pause at any point, then we can do that if you need to go off, but we're only here for half an hour, so hopefully we won't need a break, which is why I've given you some refreshments so that we can just carry on this. But if you need to pause at any point, just let me know. So thank you for completing the pre-training questions, which have helped me understand your learning requirements. So we'll go through those in a minute. Okay. So first of all, we're going to do some introductions. So the reason we're going to do that is because you guys might not know each other, might not have worked with each other before. Don't look worried, it's fine, it won't be long. So the reason we do this is it's quite nice because we're going to be working together on this project for a while, so it's quite important we know each other. So what the icebreaker we're going to do today is just tell me your name and then tell me where you would ideally like to go, so a holiday, a trip, or you can tell Sean's already got an idea of where he wants to go. Okay, so I'm Emma Dowding, so I'm the HR coach. Ideally, I would like to be on a beach right now, so anywhere hot, that's sort of my ideal location right now. So Isabel, do you want to go yet? Next, so introduce yourself and tell us where you would ideally like to be on this beautiful day.
I'm Izzy Turner and I would like to go somewhere hot.
Somewhere hot?
Like
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anywhere?
Anywhere.
Anywhere
that's hot.
You want some sunshine. Sean, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Sean Turner and I would also like to go to somewhere hot, somewhere like Mexico, Dubai. That would be fantastic.
Oh, sounds lovely. Maybe we could all three of us go on an aeroplane. Sounds fantastic. So, as I said, you guys might not have worked with each other before, so it's really good that we're sort of connecting and sorting this group out. So, the subjects we're going to cover today in the training session are we're going to talk about effective communication, communication skills, how to prepare the room for an induction, what's needed in an induction, induction content, prepare the training and what to consider and what's going to happen next, and then we'll go through any questions and further resources that you might need. Does that all make sense? Any questions so far? Fantastic. So as I said, don't worry too much about making notes today. I will give you the PowerPoint presentation and then you'll have your pack as well that you can go through sort of later on. So if you want to make notes, then that's lovely. If not, we'll go through that later. So we're just going to talk about the objectives of the course. So the objectives of the course are for you to understand what effective communication skills, what you need to consider, what information needs to be provided in the induction, and how we're going to support you guys to develop in that course. So on a scale of 1 to 10, obviously 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how confident do you feel right now at running a course or an induction? Isabel?
Like a 2, I don't know.
A 2?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. If that's how you're feeling, that's good. So this programme will help you develop. So we've got the session today, then the coaching pack, then the observation, then the follow through. So this is the very beginning of the journey, so that's fine. Sean, where are you?
I'm quite happy, so I'd say a 9.
Okay, brilliant. Well, hopefully we'll be at 10 by the end of the course, so that'd be fantastic.
Yes, let's hope.
So effective communication we're going to talk about. So how do we communicate most? How do you think that we communicate most in a training session? What's the thing that we do most in a session? So what am I doing today?
Talking verbally.
Yeah. So what makes somebody a great communicator, do you think?
Not sure.
Eye contact.
Really good. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that is really, really important, because you can be talking at someone, but if you're not looking at them, then they don't think. Fantastic. What do you feel that you might need to work on for you to become a good conductor of an induction? What do you think you might need to work on?
Eye contact.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Confidence to stand in front of people.
Yeah, so we're going to work on that. That's brilliant. So we're just going to watch a little video, which is welcome on board video. I'm just going to show this, so I'll turn this round so you can have a look at this session. So I'll put that on the full screen. Sean, can you see that okay?
Mhm.
Just turn it around a little bit. Okay, so that was the 3 C's of communication. So that was just to give you an example of which has decided to play again, which is really good. Let's just turn that off. We'll go back to the PowerPoint. Cool. Does that all make sense? That was just about communication, how people communicate, and the skills that you might need to consider. Because communication isn't just about what we're saying, and as Isabel said, it's about eye contact and other things as well. So we'll just go through this list now. So there's a list of communication skills. So we've got listening, non-verbal communication, eye contact, clarity, as in how you're speaking, how clearly you're delivering that, your friendliness, because it's about connecting with the people that you're presenting to, confidence, so Sean, you mentioned that, didn't you, about standing in front of a group, empathy, so understanding how they're feeling, open-mindedness, so things might not go exactly how you want them to, but you're adapting to the people that are in the room, respecting their opinions, so giving them a chance to talk, expecting feedback, and also pick the right medium, so thinking about your audience and what their level of knowledge of the subject is as well, so that's quite important. So that's our communication skills. Is that quite clear? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Good. So what is needed in induction? So obviously we need to consider how good our induction is, how important it is for people in our organisation to feel welcomed and have everything that they need. So what makes a really good induction is the content and the information that we provide. So we need to just consider that positive learning environment, and that a student feels comfortable, has a sense of rapport with their teacher, and believes that they can be successful. So they want to know that they're going to get everything that they need out of that. So I'm just going to show you an example of an induction and some information. So this is called a welcome on board video. So I'll just put this one on for you. It's got a bit of a slow start, but it'll get there in the end. Okay, can you see that, Sean? Got the music. Okay, so did that cover a lot of information you'd expect to find in induction?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of thing? Was there anything in there that surprised you that they'd included, or was that sort of all the kind of things that you think that you would see in an induction?
I think that's the sort of thing I would expect to see in an induction.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So we're going to go through just a little bit about induction content and what we think needs to be covered. So that was really good to sort of understand what other organisations and sort of do. So again, don't worry necessarily about taking notes. There'll be the pack afterwards that will go through and it will give you the full detail. And as I said, you're going to observe me doing an induction. I'm going to give you the information and then we're going to practice and go through it. So an induction content which we think needs to be included will be, so the organisation history. So we're going to talk about the company, where it started, how it started, you know, a little bit of history about the organisation and its goals and where it's going, because I think that's quite interesting to have in an induction. Then another big topic is going to be the organisation structure. So how it looks, who runs what department, are they the kind of things that you would you expect to sort of want to know about when you first start a company? So what departments there are, what kind of information. Then there's quite a big section on our culture and our values. So what makes us what we are, what drives the company, where it needs to be looking at, where it's driving its future. And then we sort of get to more the technical stuff. So we're going to be looking at probation and contractual information. So is there anything that you think would be included in that section of probation and contractual information? What kind of stuff would you like to know when you start in an organisation?
But what part is, I mean, the contract is obviously really important.
Yeah. So sort of the terms and conditions, so if we talk about working hours, then obviously that would have been in their contract, but it's nice to refresh those. Entitlement to your breaks, holiday entitlement will be included sort of in the benefit section as well, but it's quite important to cover those off so that people have everything that they need when they start so that they're ready to go through. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So the next section we're going to go through is we're going to look at is employee benefits and the full package. So it's really important when people start that they understand all of their benefits. So their salary is not the only thing. So it's really important. They would have had that stuff when they started. They might have been discussed at interview, but at induction it's really, really important that you go through everything. So you talk about all the benefits that they can get so they can sign themselves up for all these things. So like Bupa and the benefit system that we have, and we have a Connected, which is a benefit site which gives people, which hopefully you guys have signed up for, gives you vouchers and discounts for all sorts of organisations. So that's sort of the kind of thing that we want to include. So therefore an induction is important because it's giving information, but it's also giving people their full package as well. Is that all right, Sean? Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
So then there's a really big section on policies, procedures and processes. Yeah, so it's really important that we go through what's expected of people in how that they work. So the policies, procedures and processes we will talk about GDPR, we will talk about our social media policy, we will talk about grievances, we will talk about disciplinaries. So that section is probably the heaviest section that we're going to work through. But it's really important that we cover those off and that people have everything they need. Okay, so that's the heavy bit. So I'm sure you'll love delivering that bit because you'll be talking about sickness, absence and that kind of thing. But again, I think you'd understand that's really, really essential information that we do. Okay, so then the next section we're going to talk about is access to systems. So all the systems that you need to have when you started. So I don't know if you guys remember when you started, there's lots of systems, there's lots of logins. So in the induction, we'll check that they've got everything that they should have. So that's, how to access the building and the passwords that they will need, the HR system to book their holiday, the discount system to book discounted vouchers, the system to claim that their expenses, there's lots of things. That's again going to be a really heavy section. Yeah, does that make sense? Cool. And then we're going to talk about health and safety, well-being and mental health. So there is another health and safety induction, so that won't be the heaviest section, but it will be definitely included. So the health and safety part of this induction will just talk about our obligation. So who the health and safety reps are, how to contact someone if you've got a concern, and what kind of information that they need on a basis. Yeah. Okay. So again, it's really important that we cover those off, and those are imperative in the session. Yeah. So in the health and safety part of the section, as I said, it won't be the full detail. We'll just tell them really about their responsibilities, how to report an accident, that kind of thing. Then we have a section about well-being and mental health, so tell people what support they have, what support we have available, so the employee assistance program, and that's really, really important so people know what options are available to them. And then another really big section that we're going to talk about is learning and development. So learning and development will be talking to people about where their future growth can be and where that they can look at information for driving their own development. So if there's a course that really like you guys are doing this course, this is part of your development, we will discuss what opportunities are available. Yeah. And then the last section is this won't be the end of their introduction into the company, so there's going to be more role specific information that will be covered by their line manager that won't be in the induction. Does that make sense? Yeah. So like when you guys started, you do your company induction, you do your health and safety induction. Sean, are you all right there?
Yeah, that's fine.
They do the health. You do your health and safety induction. You do this induction, and then when you start on in your department, your manager will then do all your role specific induction and talk to you about what's expected of you on a day-to-day basis in your role. Yeah. Any questions about that? No? All good. Okay. So preparing the training and points to consider. So you must consider when you're setting up a course like I've done today, that the environment is safe, that the learners are welcome and that they're confident to participate, that they're comfortable, that we've got a really good environment to do the training session. Accessibility, so make sure that anybody that has access issues, that we've adapted the room or the location for where it works for them, so consider that. So we need to know our audience, and that the environment that we're working in is stimulating as well. So if you've got the posters for the induction, we'll put them up on the wall. I'll send all that over to you because that'll be a pack that you'll take out when you'll go and do that. Yeah? Okay. So what we're going to talk about is what's going to happen next after today, because this is a really big first step into this. So what's going to happen after this is that there's going to be a valuation form for you to fill out. So that will rank the kind of things that you've done before, so we can work out how your training needs to be after this. You'll have to complete the training pack, which I've emailed over to you guys just so you can have a flick through, but that has to be done as we're going through, so you guys will have that. Then you're going to observe an induction, so that'll be either me or one of the other coaches will conduct that. And then you will conduct an induction and you'll be observed. And then we'll ask for feedback from the participants, just so that you can look at how your feedback has come after you've done your first induction, because we can all learn each time. And then finally you'll be signed off. So then that's all the pieces of the puzzle and you're qualified to go off and do inductions for our growing business. Yeah?
Yay!
Got a while to go yet, but thanks for the enthusiasm, I'm sure. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to recap the topic so that we've gone through today, just so that I understand that you know where we're going, what we're doing. Yeah? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go through. So we talked about effective communication. So do you want to just mention a couple of things that I talked about, see if you can recall anything when we talked about effective communication? What kind of things did I mention in that subject? Sean, can you remember?
Confident, clear, concise.
Yeah.
Izzy, can you remember anywhere? Isabel, sorry.
I was going to say what he said.
Oh, he beat you, did he? Okay. So then that's really good. And then communication skills. So we talked about that, and you talked about that really early on, Isabel, didn't you? You talked about communication skills aren't just what you say, it's your body language, your eye contact, and that kind of thing. Yeah. So what kind of things can you recall me saying about how to prepare the room? What's important to consider? We've just gone through that.
Access, that it's all, if someone's disabled, can access the room.
Issues, yeah. So think about your audience.
Nice, relaxed room.
Yeah. Safe room, yeah, really important. There's not wires all over the place and that kind of thing. So that's brilliant, well done. So can you remember what just a couple of things that we're going to include in the content of the induction? There was quite a lot, wasn't there?
There was
a lot.
Should write down notes.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So it's just, as I said, there was a lot in that one. So it's policies, procedures, contract, information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, there's a lot that can be included in induction, but we went through a list, didn't we? But we will go through that as section. You'll have a guidance pack, so that's fine. So when you're preparing the training, what do you think that you might need to consider? Can you guys think now of something that you might have come to your mind if you're going to set up a training session?
The needs and requirement of whatever you're going into and people that you're going to train, so specifically. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what's going to happen next? We've gone through that, so just want to talk. Can you recall what's going to happen next in this program of development? Okay, so we've got the pack that you're going to work through after this. Yeah. And then
I'm going to do an induction, you guys are going to watch, and then what's going to happen after that?
We're going to do it.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen? You get signed off.
Yay!
Yay! See, same reaction. Well done. So have you guys got any questions about what we've gone through today? Is there anything that I've talked about that you've got any burning queries right now?
No, just keen to get going really.
Okay.
And learning it.
Cool. That's brilliant to hear. Is there any questions? All quite clear? Quite confident? Good. So as I said, today's the first session, so we've got some more places to go on this. So also in these slides, which I'll send over to you, there's some further resources with some information which will help you guys along your journey. So I'll just flick that over. So there's some further resources on here. There's some links to the CIPD, some fact sheets. There's a really good information about 5 ways to improve your communication in a virtual team, because some of these inductions might be done virtually. There's learning and development fact sheet as well. And there's also a section on varklearning.com, which is really interesting. VARK looks at different ways of doing an induction and that kind of information. So thanks for attending today. As I said, the really important thing is that you've come along, you're on this journey, and we're going to work our way through. So thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you.
You're welcome.